Some people start life with a map, others start with chaos. One gets options, the other gets obstacles. It's not the same game. And it's definitely not the same difficulty. Life is rigged at the start, and no one talks about it. Because while some kids were told, "You're going to do great things," others were told to stay quiet. And that starting point, it shapes everything. So let's talk about the part most people skip. The life settings we didn't choose. Before we start, I want you to really listen to each of these life modes. Not just with your ears, with your story, because chances are one of these, it's yours. And when you find it, drop it in the comments. Not for attention, but to remind someone else. You're not the only one playing on this level. All right, life mode. The privileged life. You wake up in a bedroom bigger than some people's entire homes. Floor-to-ceiling windows, filtered light, noise-canceling silence. Your morning starts with someone reminding you of your potential. Before you've even asked what day it is, you spill juice on the carpet. No one yells. Someone just shows up to clean it, then gently reminds you to be more mindful next time. You say you're bored, and by afternoon, a STEM tutor is at your kitchen island with a 3D printer and flashcards. You break your tablet, you get 2 more just in case. You say you want to be an astronaut. The next week, you're shaking hands with one. The world hands you opportunities wrapped as options. Mistakes don't carry weight. They're part of the plan. You don't fear trying, because every time you stumble, someone is already there, cushioning the fall, turning the stumble into a stepping stone. And the wildest part? You're not arrogant. You're not ungrateful. You're just unaware, because you've never seen life without a parachute. You don't know what it's like to have no plan B, because you've always had a plan C, D, and E. You've never cried over late bills, missed a meal to keep the lights on, or stayed silent in a classroom because your shoes squeaked when you walked. And that's not your fault. You didn't build the world. You were just born into the easy setting. But that's what the privileged life never teaches you. How to fight when the world finally says no. Life mode, the average hustle. You wake up to an alarm clock that doesn't ask how you're feeling. It just rings. Because that's what clocks do in this life mode. You brush your teeth with whatever was on sale. Make coffee in a machine that leaks a little. You iron a shirt that still looks a bit wrinkled, but it's clean, and that's enough. You weren't born struggling, but you weren't born safe either. You were told to work hard, keep your head down, and the system would reward you. So you did. You showed up. You stayed late. You said yes to things you didn't want to do because that's what responsible people do. You filled out the forms, took the loans, smiled through unpaid internships. You believed the myth that if you just keep pushing, eventually it all balances out. But it doesn't, because every promotion comes with more work. Every raise is swallowed by inflation, and every milestone just moves the goalpost. You're not failing, you're not drowning, but you're always one unexpected bill from slipping under. You dream small because dreaming big feels exhausting, and when you rest, you feel guilty for not doing more. And that's what the average hustle never teaches you, how to slow down without feeling like you're falling behind. Life mode, the eldest child. You didn't choose this role, it chose you. You were 8 years old and already the backup adult in the house. You knew when to mute the TV before the shouting started. You knew which sibling needed a snack to stay calm. You knew how to disappear when the air got too heavy. You became the translator, the buffer, the emotional filter. You made breakfast before you were tall enough for the counter. You wiped away tears that weren't yours. You hugged people who never hugged back. They called you responsible. But you were just scared, and no one noticed. You learned that crying made others uncomfortable, that being tired didn't matter, because your job was to hold everyone else together. You performed strength like it was your only currency. And now, you still do. You say, "I'm fine," before anyone even asks. You help others while silently falling apart. Because you were taught, if you're not fixing it, you're failing. And that's what the eldest child life never teaches you. How to be cared for when you've only ever known how to care for others. Life mode, the outsider's struggle. You walk into every room already aware of how you're being seen. Before you speak, they've already decided who you are. Your name, your skin, your body, your history. You carry a label you never agreed to. So you learn to scan, to shift, to shrink. You adjust your tone. You change how you walk. You laugh at jokes that hurt just to keep things light. You speak in a voice that doesn't sound like home because fitting in feels safer than being seen. You're fluent in small talk but starved for real belonging. You see the world watching you like a test, and you study every day just to pass. But deep down, you wonder who you'd be if you ever got to just exist. And that's what the outsider life never teaches you: how to feel whole in a world that only wants fragments. Life mode. The silent battle. You're in a grocery store. The shelves are too loud. The labels scream, your brain loops. You just came for cereal, but now it's a labyrinth. You've been standing in the same spot for 15 minutes, trying to choose a box that doesn't overwhelm you. Someone brushes past, you flinch. Not because you're weak, but because everything is already too much. You finally grab something, not what you wanted, just something. You survive the checkout, walk to the car, sit in silence, and breathe. It's not just the store, it's life. Every room feels like too many tabs open, and no one sees it. Because you've mastered the mask, you smile, you nod, you say, "Yeah, I'm just tired," because that's easier than explaining the storm inside your skull. And that's what the silent battle never teaches you. That looking fine and feeling safe are not the same. Life mode. The broke survival. Life, you check your bank balance before buying toothpaste. You calculate dinner like math homework. Every rupee is a gamble. You don't live week to week. You live hour to hour. You're not thinking about dreams. You're thinking about rent. Your shoes have holes. You joke about them so no one asks. You skip lunch and say you're not hungry. You go to work sick and call it discipline. You cry in the shower because it's the only place no one can hear you. They say money isn't everything, but they've never had to choose between groceries and medicine. You want to rest, but rest is expensive. And you can't afford it. You keep going because you have no choice. And the wild thing? No one claps for that kind of strength. No one cheers for survival, but you're still here. And that's what the broke life never teaches you: how to believe you deserve more than survival. Some days I wonder how they do it, smiling through life while I'm just holding things together with silence and tape. But then I remember, we're not playing the same game. Some were handed shortcuts, others got shields. I got pressure and kept going anyway. Because I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I showed up even when no one clapped. Maybe you started with no map, no armor, no help. But starting on hard mode builds instincts you can't fake. You learn how to move quiet, solve with scraps, lead without a guide. That's not weakness, that's earned power. So here's what you do. Stop comparing your path to someone who never had to climb. Your effort is already a win. Use your pain, build your rules, play the game your way. You didn't choose your difficulty, but you still get to choose who you become. And that choice, that's your real power. Now I want to hear from you. Which life mode are you living in? Drop it in the comments. I'll go first. I'm living in average hustle and eldest child. What about you?